Today we are canning trout. Beautiful trout. Now I put them in a bowl with ice and cold water, and probably to a bowl this size, and I don't know how many quarts, it's a big bowl. Anyway, to this I put about a quarter cup of vinegar in it, and it stops it from getting slimy. When canning, you do not need to scale them. You remove the head, the dorsal fin, the tail, and these fins, because they're quite large, that one and the collarbone. Okay? And of course you start with a sharp knife. What we have done on many occasions is we save these bones or fins and head, and we make a fish broth out of it. Now see there, you can see how far that bone goes up in there, right to the end there. I'm trying to do this backward for you. Whatever knife you use, make it sharp. Do you see that? Okay. Now the dorsal bone. I'm sorry, dorsal fin. Sometimes the scales on the back, right here, you'll see them on the knife, make getting this fin out a little bit hard. Like hard to poke a fish. Okay. And then I just pull that out. Finish cutting it out. And then you remove the tail. I would say don't. There we go. Now I cut this fish up into pieces. I hope you can see this. About that long. These go into the canning jars. Really easy. And I generally cut them, not that one. You see how that is? I generally cut the big ones like that. It just helps them fit in the jars a little bit better. Key to these, keep them in that cold, lightly vinegared water until you're ready to can them. But there's another step I'm going to show you shortly. Please don't get your fingers in the way of the knives. As you can see, this goes pretty quick. These bones are going to turn to nothing. You won't even know they're in the jars. I'm going to finish my next 4 or 5 trout, whatever I got here, and I'll be back. What I'm going to do now is take this over the sink. I'm going to remove the eyes. I'm going to drain and strain the fish, and then I'll be back here for the next secret step for Morgan Kai's canned trout. Here's what I do. I make my own seasoning. I use a whole bunch of seasonings and I powder them so they're light. And I have no salt in them. I don't cook with salt. I like it on my plate, but I do not cook with salt. Now I'll rub all that in. I will add some garlic. I don't even know if I got these in the camera. Probably not. It's one of those days, folks. Not a whole lot. And then green onions. These have been frozen, so it doesn't matter if they're frozen or fresh or what. Dehydrated, probably just fine. Just for a little bit of flavor. And I'm going to stir this with my hands, so excuse me, but that's how I do. And that looks like about enough. You don't want to overdo it, because pressure canning really enhances flavors. And we're going to do an added taste treat in these. Now I got to make sure I can get this where you see it. Now that comes the packing of it. Just pack them. The way they should, and I don't really care. What matters is just pack them. You don't pack them down. Don't try to murder them in the jar. You leave an inch headspace. Okay, here we go again with another jar.
Now, raise your hand because you can't see what's in the jar.
Sure they can tell there's trout going in this jar. You want to leave an inch headspace. Don't pack them down. Don't add oil. Where's that Earl? And as you can see, that's good enough. But I gotta tell you, we've made now several batches of this. It is delicious. It puts sardines to shame.
It does.
Oh, I see, I'm gonna have a bunch of onions in one and not in the others. I gotta play with one of these. You can put garlic cloves in these for flavor.
Could probably put
The clove will turn to mush, or as Dagny calls it, garlic pate. Still has a nice flavor, but it's like spread. Okay, I think that's going to be close enough. Let me get this over here.
all fine. You want to make sure there's nothing on the rim between the rim and the ring or lid.
Not even on the threads.
Yep.
You really don't want this nasty. Now, these jars should not evacuate any liquid at all. They will generate some liquid. Not much. And it's got the most beautiful flavor.
Yes, I use that.
We did a trout taste test the other day. But this is trout. Will that show up there?
I don't know.
Take a peek.
No, hold
Where
on.
does it go?
There it is. I got it.
Okay, this trout was made June 2019. You see the liquid? That's all that this jar generated. And there you see green onions. You see bits of my seasonings. And of course a Tatler.
Okay.
The reason you use vinegar when wiping rims is because vinegar has this unique ability to cut grease. That's why one very good cleaning solution is with Dawn dish soap and vinegar. This is all-purpose cleaning vinegar. It's cheap. This is, it says, not a food product. Nowhere do you see to use it with food. It is 6% strength. This is what we use for canning vinegar. 5% white distilled vinegar. It's food safe, but 5%. Now, even though this is 1% more, it is 20 times stronger. So now if you're doing the math and you want to try to use it in food, 20 times stronger than this one. It is not food safe. Do you want to use that in your canning? I hope not. I hope people are not that brain dead. So there you have it. You stick to 5% white distilled vinegar. It's distilled, it's clean, it's safe for food. Do not use cleaning vinegar. We got 5 quarts out of
5 pints.
5 pints. Out of how many pounds?
Out of 4.5 pounds.
4.5 pounds whole shark, hello, trout. Okay, and she has how much water?
3 quarts.
Okay, I'll let you come over and give the dissertation.
Okay.
I'm gonna back off so she can grab the lid.
Okay, got my 3 quarts of water in my canner based on what my manual says. The lid on, line up my arrows, and give it a nice little twist. Okay, now it will heat up. When my vent starts to vent steam at a good steady flow, we'll time it for 10 minutes. then I'll put my
And this
pressure
will pop
weight.
up too.
Yes, and the lock. It will lock so you can't open it.
Oh.
And then we will, after we put the weight on, then we'll start our counting. And it'll be, for us, 13 pounds of pressure.
For our elevation. Altitude if you're flying. Okay. And where's your top? There it is. Here's the little jiggler top.
There's my jiggler.
We saw a fella canning salmon yesterday. You could tell he's never pressure canned before and that he had read the manual and he cited the manual. But when it came time to starting this, well, he had a few boo-boos that were really hilarious. But anyway, he was a good-natured guy. When it came time to bringing this canner up to pressure, he only had to bring it to 10 pounds, which is right there on ours. And the same canner, brand shiny new. Anyway, brought it up to 10 pounds. He put the jiggler valve on it, because this is not weighted. This is dependent on the heat that you're running and your adjustments. It's not a weighted weight. So he put that on, he kept the burner on high, and this pressure gauge was up past 15, and he says, okay, it's pretty high, so I'm going to cut it back to 90 minutes canning time because it's at 15 pounds. Dagny and I both said, where did he come up with that? Read the USDA book. I mean, it is just so full of fabulous information, educational, easy to read, free to get. Look in the description box. I have the links to it. You can download it. You can use it as a PDF or you can print it. But oh, the things they have in there are just remarkable. The information and little thing, it just, you don't find it in other canning books. Okay, I'm ranting and raving. I'll let you go.
Okay, my canner has been venting steam, nice hot steam here for 10 minutes. I'm going to now put my jiggler on, set my timer for 1 hour and 40 minutes.
100 minutes. And you can see that other lock is up. Point to the lock. You can see
Right there
that
in
that's
front.
up. Now this is going to come to pressure. One thing, as I'm sure you've noticed, we can on a glass cooktop. Presto, to my knowledge, is the only one that is approved for a glass, the only canner that's approved for a glass cooktop. One thing you absolutely never ever do is slide your pans across the cooktop. You don't slide the pressure canner, you don't slide anything, and you keep it clean. And of course you keep the bottom of your canner immaculate.
Yes.
We have never had a problem. Never. And we've been doing this for eons.
It should take about between 10 and 15 minutes to get the pressure.
And it
So
is.
I set a timer to remind me to keep checking it.
Ah, and it's 12:06 right now. We enjoy canning. You can hear the jars inside, rocking and rolling. As soon as it came up to venting, she turned the heat down from high to 7 on our burners. You don't leave it on high. There's just no need.
Control the temperature so it doesn't get, pressure doesn't get too high. Make it too hard to bring back down.
See you when this is done. I hope you can hear this pressure gauge. I know you can see it. It's like doing a little hula dance. You see our pressure is at 15, I think.
You should write it about where I keep adjusting. Yeah, it's at 15.
Anyway, it's not going to get all shook up. My point is that the pressure regulator is kind of doing a very gentle little dance on the lid there. You can see it. I think you can hear it hissing. That's when you know you have your pressure for whatever pressure you're gonna do. Ours is 14 to 15 pounds, and you just bring it up to whatever your poundage is, your PSI, and let adjust it so that that little regulator is gently hissing and kind of rocking. You don't want it going crazy, and you don't want it silent.
Okay, so our canner is done. It's at 0. I'm going to take off the weight and I am going to open her up.
And that little deal is down, right?
Yes, lock us down. Remember, lift away. Ooh, yeah. And we have trout.
This is gonna be delish. Why do you do that?
Just to take the puddles.
Now if you remember, we did not put any liquid in these jars. We just put the trout in, and that was das ist alles. That looks delicious.
It does.
We only got one left to seal. They sealed in a can. It's that one. Right. Sorry about wiggling this thing. Today is not my finest day. Anyway.